Tonight, we are young, so let's set the world on fire. We can burn bright.
Hi, and welcome to episode 6 of the We Are Yarn podcast. My name's Amanda, and I'm your host. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're a new watcher, viewer, whatever, I appreciate you coming by and giving me a shot. If you're a returning viewer, thanks so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. Unfortunately, this would be take 2. Take 1 did not work out once I tried to convert it. So, hopefully I won't talk too fast and sound too exasperated. Um, Unfortunately, also, I do not have any announcements. I've been really busy getting my mom moved into her house out here in East Tennessee. So, good. We got her in and everything's straightened. That's why I'm a little bit late now. Um, but let's just jump on right in. Looking at my little list. Oh, the first thing officially done, I am wearing the tank top with the grosgrain attached. I would show you a little bit more closely, but it looks horrible. But nobody sees that part, so it's okay. I got very excited. I took it to Knit Group and sewed it on, and everybody thought the grosgrain was a fabulous idea. I didn't tell them that I'd heard it from the Knitmore girls. But moving on. I meant to mail this out today, but it just didn't happen. So you'll get to see it for the third time. This is, let's see, wait, back up. Last time I showed you the Barocco FX sequin yarn, and it's gold sequins on a black thread. Barocco, the letter F, the letter X, because they think they're clever. FX, right? Get it? Um, so yeah, and I was gonna make a hat out of it. It had been gifted to me. I wasn't real sure what I was gonna do with it. I only had the one skein. Not really. I mean, I guess I could have lined, like the collar of a shawl of a sweater or something with it, but not really my style. So I was going to put it with some black yarn, make a hat. But then I was thinking I would probably give it to my niece, who is turning 9 in a few days. Oh, I forgot to say, today is July the 30th, Monday. So she's turning 9 in a few days. Her favorite color is turquoise, and I found in my stash some Full of Sheep by Debbie Stoller Stitch Nation yarn that was left over from a project from a year ago-ish. So I used that instead. So the black yarn is still over there for something else, but this is how it looks. This is my hat. The pattern I followed was um, my striped and slouchy hat by Christy Wasson. I'm not going to be able to do the captions, especially since this is my second time through. There will not be time for me to sit and do that. So I'm going to spell everything out and try to be really clear so you can find it later. Christy, Christi, Wasson, Wasson, my striped and slouchy hat. I actually ended up getting a much different gauge than what she called for. So I sort of followed her pattern and sort of made it up as I went. I did the 2x2, I cast on 88 stitches, 2x2 ribbing for 2 inches, 2x2x2, and then I added the sequins and just knitted it. I only made it to about here with the sequins. The first time I had to rip out, start over again. And then I just ripped back to the ribbing, did it every other row with the sequins. And that just worked out perfectly. I'll give you a little bit of modeling here. I gave it a good bath. I blocked it on a plate, just your usual dinner size plate, so it would hang kind of beret-like. I was thinking about saving this for Christmas actually, but here lately I've seen a lot of girls, young teenagers, that sort of thing, wearing berets. You know, it's 95 degrees outside. Why not wear a wool hat? So just in case my little 9-year-old niece wants to jump on that bandwagon, I have provided her little hat. gonna stick my hair up in it because it's bugging me. Hey, maybe this is my style. I'm gonna wear this the rest of the time. Okay, so every other row. Yeah, I think that's all. I did not write down what size needle I used. I did not log it into Ravelry. I have no idea, so sorry. But since I winged the pattern so much, you know, I went so far off track of what the pattern said, I really used it more of a guide as far as how long to make the hat. And I actually just decreased it when it looked like I was running out of yarn. And it ended up, I probably could have gotten 5 or 6 more rows out of it before I started decreasing, but better safe than sorry. I'd already ripped once. So what's up? What else is off the needles? I have one more thing off the needles. Also, I showed you guys last time, it just dawned on me that I showed you a lot of unknitted yarn, and now I'm showing you knitted yarn, and none of the knitted yarn I planned on getting finished got finished. But last time I showed you my Interstellar Yarn Alliance shipment. It was from Space Cadet Creations, and this month's shipment was that pretty pink and purplish, and it was in the Estelle base. The Estelle base is 80% wool, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. And I was inspired by this, especially since our inspiration for it were summer flowers and berries. I knitted the Summer Blooms pattern from Interweave Knits, and if you'll hold on just one second, you can look at the hat some more there. It was on the cover of Interweave Knits. It's a Susanna IC shawl. Summer Blooms. It was written for a lace weight on size 7. I did a fingering weight on size 7, and this is how it came out. I did include the beads. Didn't it turn out nice? I think the variegation actually kind of works with the lace instead of fighting it. But I'm pretty proud of it. This was a lot of fun too. It's written for 500 yards, and I only had 430. So what I did is I did the lace as written. I then started her, you know, her MO is to have the lace, you cast on at the bottom, do your lace, and then you do short rows to shape it. I started the short rows as written, started getting a little nervous, maybe about, you're supposed to do it 68 rows, so maybe about 20 rows in, I started getting nervous looking at my ball shrinking very quickly, and went to where I would knit a little further out past where the last knit 2 together was. I doubled it, and then I was still getting nervous, so for the last little bit I would knit how far I was supposed to knit past the knit 2 together. I would knit 2 more together and then knit that same amount out again, essentially adding 2 more stitches to my decrease, you know, there to get to the end. And I think it looks really nice. That's what it looks like on the end. So I still got a couple of rows in there up from the lace, where the lace ended. Also, I did end up having enough yarn to do the fancy little edging. I did not add the beads to the fancy little edging because I was so excited to be getting it done so quickly. It only took me 12 days. I didn't get to work on it every day either. It only took me 12 days to finish it, and I was really impressed with myself with that. But yeah, I didn't add the beads at the top because I was too excited. I did want to show you guys. Did I throw it back in the bag from earlier? Yeah. My preferred beading method. I'm sure you've all heard of Super Floss. Maybe. If not, I'm going to teach you how to use it to do your beading. I don't have anything on the needles here to work with, so you're going to have to use your imagination, okay? So Super Floss looks like this. The way I use it, I need something to put against it, but I guess we'll just do it like this. Here we go. Okay, so I tie a little bead on the end there, and this is the floppy end. So there are my beads hanging off of it. And that's just like regular floss. The next little section, you can see it's kind of squishy, it's bigger. And if you put beads on that little bigger section, they just hang there. Once you get past the little squishy set, and this is nice for kind of staging your beads. Also, it holds them on, so you can just throw your floss down in your bag and they stay on. And you don't have to worry about, you know, if you're like me and you have cats and you have your beads in a little tray on your little desk and you're using your little crochet hook, and then the cat jumps up on the desk and the beads go flying everywhere. Experience talking. This is a much better system. If they jump up on the desk and hit your beads, they're not going everywhere. Once you get past the squishy part, there's this kind of, it's more springy. See how springy that is? It's much more stiff, and that part would be used, if you were using this for what it's made for, that would be for threading into your dental appliance. However, what we're going to thread this into is going to be our stitch that we want to put the bead on. So you thread it into your stitch and fold it over. So now your stitch is hanging off here, and pull it off the needle. So your stitch is hanging off your little folded end, tough end, right? You pull your bead up off your little staging area. You're going to slide it there, and now you can just slide it off onto your, you can just slide it off there onto your stitch. And it's just, it's such an efficient way. I love it. And you can get that probably in the dental aisle at any, you know, pharmacy, grocery store, and yeah. So, it's Oral-B Super Floss, and I'm getting hot, so I'm going to take this off. All right. So, those are my two off the needles. On the needles, still is the ebb tide shawl. And I'm sorry, I've already moved the little marker from last week because I realized that I may have forgotten to move it. So, last time. So, the marker for where I was has already been moved. But I have started the sand dollar edging on my ebb tide shawl. This is, like I said, the ebb tide shawl by Elizabeth Doherty, D-O-H-E-R-T-Y. Ebb Tide, E-B-B-T-I-D-E, out of my hand spun. My Everglades colorway is what I'm calling it. And like I said, I have started the sand dollar edging. That's my center spine there. But you can see how I've finished all the feather and fan. You can, right? Yeah. And when I started doing the sand dollar edging, it's a little more involved than the feather and fans, so I went in and added these little jump rings. These are jump rings that I got at Hobby Lobby for like $2 for a pack of 100 or something ridiculous like that. Maybe $2.50 for 100. I don't know. It's been a while. And you, they serve really good cheap markers. You do have to make sure there where that joint is that it's not too wide. I have had my stitches get stuck in them. But you know, for as cheap as those are, you can use some pliers to push them together. Just throw it away if it's too wide. So yes, start the sand dollar edging. Let me show you how much I have left though. This is how much I have left, and I'm a little bit nervous that it's going to make it through all this edging. And I know that this is my yarn and I made it. I know how I made it. I have the wheel I made it on. Problem is that it was almost a year ago, and I'm afraid my technique may have changed a little bit since then. I do know that if I do have to spin up a little bit more, because I do still have the two fibers that I joined together to make this. So I have everything I need to reproduce it, I'm just afraid that I'm gonna have to. And you know, if I do, that's okay. But it was just a 2-ply, and that's it up close if you want to see it. Kind of thick and thin in places, a little more blue some places, a little more green in others. But you can see more thick and thin on that side. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. This may end up being a soap opera. It already has been. So, but yes. So to hold it up this direction, I am doing this on my knit picks. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Oh no, I did tell you. And that's it right there. So we'll see. We're kind of in between. We're in the in between point on challenges for Nerd Wars. So you know, I'm hoping to finish this up soon. I'll probably be working on it tonight and tomorrow night. The next challenges come out Wednesday. So that's the ebb tide. All right, so moving on to spinning and Tour de Fleece, and I should be showing you all sorts of fantastic yarn that I spun during Tour de Fleece. And guess what? I crashed and I burned. I haven't spun. I haven't even looked at my wheels since I talked to you guys last. Yeah, I'm a total dropout. What can I say? I do think that I did not set my goal too high. The 1 ounce a day was a challenge, and I could have done it. I just didn't. And I know that's a bad example. I don't know. I wanted to knit more than I wanted to spin, and I knew that I had that goal, but it wasn't, I don't know. I don't have a good excuse. I just don't. Sorry. So no spinning today. Maybe my mojo will come back, and next time you'll see something. We'll see. Okay, so I have a couple of acquisitions. The first one I'm going to show you kind of sprung on me in the middle of Tuesday morning. You know, so they have that little bitty yarn section, but whenever they put yarn somewhere other than the little itty bitty yarn section, I have to stop and look. I can usually walk past the little yarn section there because it's probably nothing exciting, but if it's up front, they probably have something cool in it. And they did this time. They had a lot of cool things. I actually had to pick very carefully, but I decided to go with this. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is, here's the tag, Aslan Trends Bariloche. The little price tag says Bariloche Vintage. I don't know what the vintage means. It's not on this tag. I don't know. It doesn't really have a colorway. It's bar 1335. They had 5 of them. It's 175 yards each. So I thought I'd have enough to do like a little short sleeve cardigan out of that. Looks kind of worsted weightish. It's kind of what I'd call it. Single ply. I'm really excited about it. If that didn't work out, I can always use it to make a milk run shawl or something like that. But I am planning on, because this is cattle dyed, it's hand dyed, when I do use it, I'm going to alternate skeins every third, second row, right? So I'll knit, purl back, switch skein, knit, purl back, switch skeins. Just so it's not, you know, with my luck, I'd have that one skein in the middle that's a different, slightly different color, and you can really tell it. So we're not going to do that. The other acquisition, so I get very jealous of all these people showing me loop bats on their video podcasts. And so what I did is I specifically for this reason downloaded a mobile RSS reader. No, I started a Google reader and downloaded a mobile RSS reader and followed on the Ravelry group for Loop the when is the next shop update thread. And people like to chatter in that thread and it gets annoying, but I was actually home when she posted an update. So I got myself a loop bat, and I'm so excited about it. And there it is. It's the Sea Nymph colorway. It's got that dark purple to the green, pink, blue, tealish, and then it's gray on the outside. It is, let me tell you about it, merino, bamboo, tussa silk, and angelina. And I don't know, I have a feeling this is going to be something that just sits in my stash for a while because I'm so thrilled to have it. I think it's kind of going to be like my Nidean Color Bat. I'm going to sit and look at it and love it until I can get another one. And then when I get my next loop bat, then I'll spin this one because I always want to have one in my stash. I feel like I'm kind of rubbing it in faces that I got one, kind of bragging. And my husband didn't get it. He was like, honey, it's fiber. You have fiber. And I was like, yeah, but it's special fiber. Anyway, so those are my two acquisitions this time around, this couple of weeks. And I have also for your viewing pleasure today a proper review of a proper book, not a magazine this time. So let me show you. Here it is. I wish I'd had this before I started my Summer Bloom shawl. And I'm sorry if you can hear my cat. He is outside. I shut the doors because they were being rowdy, and he is just going crazy out there. But anyway, I wish I'd had this before I started Summer Blooms because my cast stone was really way more tighter than it should have been. And I had even held a US 4 along with my US 7 to because I couldn't find whichever size she called for the cast stone. And I thought that would be enough, and it wasn't. My cast stone was way, way, way tight. Even though I took all precautions that I thought I could. But, so now I have this book. It's never going to happen again. Cast Stone Bond-Off, 54 Step-by-Step Methods by Leslie Ann Bestor. Bestor? However you say that. And let me tell you why I decided to carry this out of the Hastings. First of all, it does have a spiral binding. And I know some people hate that, but I like it. I went looking for the table of contents. I couldn't find it, and then I realized it's on the front cover. So these are all the cast stones, and you see she listed out ribbing moderate stretch, ribbing lots of stretch, all purpose, super stretchy, decorative, temporary. She just, you know, broke it down into a whole bunch of different reasons why you would want to pick one cast stone over another. And then she has discussion about it. So let's see. Each method, it's washing me out, there we go. Each method, she gives you a little discussion about it, you know, a quick blurb about it. She gives you a picture of the front and back, a close-up picture of the front, and then a picture from the edge. It's very thorough. And then she gives you a little bit of characteristics why you would want to use it. And then she gives you these fabulous picture instructions. There we go. They're just so nice. Very detailed step-by-step instructions on how to do how to perform the method. And then she gives you a little tips about really making it work for you. And it's so cool. And you go, Amanda, but where are the bind-offs? They're on the back cover. How clever is that? Clever. So, yeah, instead of going, I'll just do a regular long tail. I could have come in and gone, I'm supposed to have a very stretchy bind off, super stretchy bind off. And I could look at them all and I could say, let's go to page 62 to Tilly Buddy's Very Stretchy. And I would have started there because that's a funny name. So I turned to it and it says for double and single ribbing. Okay, that's probably not for me. Cast on of slip knots. Ribbing, good for ribbing. Cuffs, I know it said lace in that little thing. Let me find the one for lace. Stretchy and decorative. Looks good on both sides. Well, guys, it said lace in there. Well, you get the idea. Oh, this would have been a good one. The lace cast on. Who would have thought? Yeah, so, again, cast on bind off. Leslie Ann B store, coming back around to what we're really doing here. I paid $16.95 plus tax US dollars for this. I suggest it for anyone's library if you're a beginning knitter. If you're not a beginning knitter, even if you don't learn well from books, if anything, this will give you a place to start. If you can't follow the pictures real well, it'll give you somewhere to go that I know this is the cast on I want to use. Now let me find a video that teaches me how to do it. Good reference. I'm so glad I have it now. So I guess that's it. I feel like I'm missing something. I guess I don't think I am though. I followed my little notes. So, let's talk about what's next. I always talk about what's coming up in the future. And this time I'm going to try to be a little more succinct than usual. I get a lot of ideas and I get very inspired very quickly. And then it all flies away. So I talk about a lot of things that may never come to fruition. Today, talking about things that are coming to fruition. First off, Razor Cardi. I know you guys, it's been a while since we voted for that, and you guys are probably chomping at the bits to see it. That will happen, I promise. I'm going to start that on the 1st and try to fit it into Nerd Wars. I'm convinced I can finish this cardigan in the month, so I'm going to do it. And then, if I finish that, I'm going to try to also finish the cardi. I'm going to make a cardigan, the Lady Kina, Lady K-I-N-A, out of the Yarn Bee Hobby Lobby brand Diva sequined yarn that I showed you. That on take number 1, I completely forgot to get out of the closet behind me. And now for take number 2, I've also completely forgotten to get out of the closet behind me. But you remember it's the one that kind of looks like Noro. It's the Istanbul colorway. It has black and turquoise and magenta and I think a green in it. And then it's sequined with black sequins, so it's real subtle, sparkly. I'm planning on making that cardigan out of that. So if I get the Razor Cardi done, that'll be the next cardigan that goes right on the needles. And I think it actually takes the same size needles for both of those. So yeah, there may be a couple of cardigans in the future for my size 7s coming up. Also, I have heard a rumor that the 3rd round of Nerd Wars always includes something for works in progress. Planning on pulling out some socks and maybe trying to finish up some socks. So, we'll see about that. But that's what's coming up. Yes. Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and leave you. My next time I'll be recording will be in 10 days this time, since this one was a little late. So I will see you a week from Thursday. Until then, happy knitting. dreams come so